This is the new lesson, the first empire. And the first Indian empire is what we are talking about. I've already told you what is an empire. When the kingdom grows bigger, when a king expands his kingdom and he gets more than one kingdom under his rule, it is called an empire. So an empire is basically a bigger region than a kingdom. A kingdom is smaller, whereas an empire is bigger. In this chapter, we will talk about the very first empire to be set up in India, and that is the Mauryan Empire. Okay, so start reading from what is an empire. Put today's date, it is 2nd of December.
What is an empire? The first empire to be established in India was of the Mauryas. An empire is than a kingdom. It is protected by a large army. Empires usually are ruled by a dynasty. A dynasty is formed when members of the same family become rulers of one after another. The Mauryan dynasty had three great rulers, Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, and Ashok the Great.
Okay. Read it out from Chandragupta Maurya also.
Chandragupta Maurya 321 BC to 297 BC. Chandragupta founded the Mauryan Empire with the help of Chanakya. Chanakya was an important minister in the court of the Nand rulers. He was ill-treated by the Nand king at the Dhananand and took a vow to destroy his kingdom. He met Chandragupta in the Vindhya forest. As Chanakya was well.
Stop. So what is an empire? We have already discussed the meaning of the word empire. Underline the term. It is from the second line of the paragraph in your book. First paragraph. An empire is larger than a kingdom. It is protected by a large army. Underline this. An empire is larger than a kingdom. It is protected by a large army. Empires usually are ruled by dynasties. Kings and their descendants from the same family. This is called a dynasty. So they rule the empires, whereas one single king rules the kingdom. We know when a king rules a kingdom, the kingship is hereditary. So when a man becomes a king, his son becomes the next king, his son becomes the next king. So when they rule for years and years in a hereditary manner, then it is called a dynasty. Okay, so the first of such of the empire to set up in India, underline the term, the Mauryan dynasty, was the Mauryan dynasty, and it had some very great rulers, some very great Indian rulers like Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, and Ashoka the Great. So first we are talking about Chandragupta Maurya, who ruled from 321 BC to 297 BC. We know Magad ultimately came under the rule of the Nanda dynasty, and the last ruler was Dhananand. Who was the last ruler of the Nanda dynasty? Dhananand. And he had ill-treated a very important man in his, who was Chandragupta Maurya. So Chandragupta Maurya, Chanakya, I'm sorry, not Chandragupta Maurya, it was Chanakya. So when Chanakya was ill-treated by Dhananand, Chanakya decided that he will take a revenge by letting Dhananand lose his rule. चाणक्य ने डिसाइड किया कि धनानंद का एम्पायर मैं खत्म कर दूंगा. Why? Because he misbehaved with me. Then Chanakya was a very clever man. He met Chandragupta Maurya. Who was Chandragupta Maurya? He was the king of Mauryan dynasty. And Chandragupta Maurya, with the help of Chanakya, took over the Nanda dynasty. Chandragupta Maurya captured the Nanda dynasty and he became the new ruler, and the new dynasty came into existence, which was the Mauryan dynasty. As Chanakya was well versed in politics and affairs of the states, he trained Chandragupta help him raise his army. Chanakya was a very smart fellow. उसने चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य को सिखाया कि कैसे वो धनानंद को हरा सकता है. How he can bring the Nand dynasty to an end. And with the help of Chanakya, Chandragupta Maurya brought the Mauryan dynasty to beginning and Nand dynasty to an end. Thus, with Chanakya's help, Chandragupta overthrew the last Nanda ruler and he became the king. Chanakya was appointed the chief minister in the court of Chandragupta. After establishing his power in Magad, he began his campaign against Seleucus. Yes, Rishima, continue reading. Now, after Chandragupta Maurya started the Mauryan dynasty, one important incident happened. Remember, Alexander wanted to conquer India? Alexander wanted to come to India, Alexander the Great. He wanted to come to India and capture the places of India. If you have forgotten, please turn to page number 40. Page number 40 of the chapter Early Kingdoms and check out the block Alexander the Great. Check out the section Alexander the Great. Now can you see Alexander, do you remember Alexander wanted to capture India? Right? We have seen Alexander the Great conqueror to capture India, right? If you remember, we have studied this also. और इंडिया की बहुत सारी प्लेसेस को कैप्चर करने के लिए उसने अपने एक स्मार्ट आर्मी जनरल को, एक ऑफिसर को भेजा, whose name was Seleucus. And Seleucus came to whom? Seleucus came to Chandragupta Maurya. Now let us find out what happens. Now both these incidents are interrelated. Alexander wanted to capture India. So to do this, he sent Seleucus Nicator, who was a general, who was the army general for Alexander. Now let us find out what happened when Seleucus Nicator came to India. Yes, Rishima, read out from after establishing the power in Magad.
Seleucus Nicator was one of Alexander's generals. He was left behind by Alexander to look after the conquered territories. These territories were areas west of the Indus. After a prolonged struggle, Chandragupta defeated Seleucus in 305 BC. He annexed the entire Punjab and the areas across the Indus River. Seleucus had also to sign a peace treaty in which he gave away Kabul, Gandhara, and Gandhara and parts of Persia. Chandragupta also married the daughter of Seleucus. In this way, Chandragupta became the undisputed ruler of northern India. Chandragupta also conquered parts of central India and united the whole of northern India under Mauryan rule. He ruled for about 25 years. He became a Jain ascetic and left his throne for his son Bindusara.
Stop. So what happened when Alexander wanted to capture India? He sent Seleucus Nicator. Now Seleucus Nicator and Chandragupta Maurya, they are against each other. Then what happened? Chandragupta Maurya somehow allowed Seleucus Nicator to capture some parts of India, but not from his empire. Mauryan dynasty का कोई भी area Seleucus Nicator capture नहीं कर पाया. क्यों? क्योंकि चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य and Chanakya had so many great policies with them. They were such strong rulers that they just did not allow these people to capture the Mauryan dynasty or the Mauryan areas. He annexed the entire Punjab and the areas across Indus River. Seleucus had to sign a peace treaty और Seleucus ने एक peace agreement साइन किया चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य के साथ and he gave away Kabul, means he gave away the region of northwestern Gandhar and the parts of Persia. He gave away these places to Chandragupta Maurya and चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य ऑल्सो मैरिड सेल्यूकस's डॉटर, और चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य ने बहुत ही चालाकी से सेल्यूकस की डॉटर से विवाह कर लिया, सेल्यूकस की डॉटर से मैरिज कर ली, सो दैट सेल्यूकस और किसी तरह से उनकी प्लेस को, उनकी किंगडम को ना कैप्चर कर सके। अब जब सेल्यूकस और चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य रिलेटिव्स हो गए, सो देयर वाज नो पॉइंट इन फाइटिंग वॉर्स, और इस तरह चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य ने अपनी मौर्यन डायनेस्टी को सेव किया। He saved it from whom? From Seleucus and from Alexander. कैसे? पीस ट्रीटी को साइन करा, जिसमें ये म्यूचुअल एग्रीमेंट था कि काबुल, गांधार और पर्शिया के रीजन्स को अब Alexander conquer नहीं कर सकता. They will remain under the rule of Mauryan dynasty. And along with that, Seleucus's daughter was married to Chandragupta, and this is how Chandragupta did not allow Seleucus, or you can say he stopped Seleucus from capturing the Mauryan dynasty. At a certain age, Chandragupta Maurya realized that it is enough of being a king, so he became a Jain ascetic. उन्होंने जैनिज्म अडॉप्ट किया, and he became a ascetic. He became a sannyasi, Jain sannyasi, and later on he left his throne for the son Bindusara. And Bindusara, following the policy of hereditary kingship, he became the next king of Mauryan dynasty. We will quickly read out the sources of information, and after that we'll end up this class.
Sources of information. There are two sources of information about the Mauryans. Two important literary sources, Charakya's Arthashastra and Megasthenes Indika, give us a complete picture of the administration under Chandragupta. Arthashastra tells us about how to govern an empire and describes the administration of the Mauryans. Megasthenes Indica tell us about the political, social, and economic conditions of people during this period.
Just a minute before you continue. There are two sources of information which tell us about the Mauryan dynasty. Underline the names of these books. One is Arthashastra, which was written by Megasthenes. Which was written by Chanakya. And there is another book which is Indika, which was written by Megasthenes. So Chanakya wrote the Arthashastra and Megasthenes wrote Indika. Now we all know who was Chanakya. Chanakya was a very powerful man in the court of Chandragupta Maurya in the Mauryan dynasty. But who was Megasthenes? Megasthenes was a foreign traveler. He had come to India to know about the Indian culture, to write about books about the Indian culture. So Megasthenes was a foreign traveler who had come to India. So where Megasthenes is written in the bracket, write down Megasthenes. He was a foreign traveler who came to India to write books about Indian culture. He was a foreign traveler who came to India to write books about Indian culture. Now read out, Rishima, what did Megasthenes exactly write? So here is an extract from Megasthenes' book, and let us read out what Megasthenes wrote about the Mauryan dynasty in his book. Yes, continue reading Megasthenes' account.
Megasthenes' account. Seleucus Nicator, the Greek ruler of West Asia, sent Megasthenes as an ambassador to Chandragupta Maurya's court. Here is an excerpt from his description in Indika. Patliputra is a large and beautiful city. It is surrounded by massive wall. It has 570 towers and 64 gates. The houses of 2 and 3 stories are built of wood and mud bricks. The king's palace, also made of wood, is decorated with stone carving. It is surrounded by a garden. This is what he says about the king. The emperor appears in public with a grand royal procession. He is carried in a golden palanquin. Palanquin. His guards ride elephants decorated with gold and silver. The king is surrounded by armed women. He is afraid someone might kill him. He was special. He has special servants to taste the food before he eats. He never sleeps in the same bedroom for 2 nights.
Okay, stop. So Megasthenes, who was a foreign traveler, जिसने इंडियन कल्चर पर मौर्यन एम्पायर पर अपनी बुक लिखी, the name was Indika. Here is an excerpt. Excerpt means here is an extract from that book. It reads about the Patliputra. We know that Patliputra was a very important place in the region of Magad, in the Magad Empire. So Patliputra was a very important place, and he has explained about, Megasthenes has described about Patliputra. And some characteristics of Patliputra are mentioned here. For example, it is surrounded by massive walls. Massive means very huge, very high. And it has 570 towers. 64 gates are there. There are 2 and 3 storied houses. 2 माले के घर हैं और 3 माले के 3 story houses हैं. The king's palace is made of wood and it is decorated with stone carvings. जो king का palace मैं यहाँ पे देख रहा हूँ, it is made of wood और इस पे कई सारे precious stones लगे हुए हैं. And it is surrounded by a garden and there is a very beautiful garden around it. And along with the place Patliputra, Megasthenes also mentions about the king. उसने king के बारे में भी कुछ लिखा अपनी book में, Indika में, and this is what he has written about the king. He has written some secrets about the king. It says the emperor appears in public with a grand royal procession. जब भी यहाँ के king लोगों के बीच में जाते हैं, it is usually followed by a long procession और एक बहुत बड़ा सा रैली, एक बहुत बड़ा सा मेला उनके साथ साथ जाता है. He is carried in a golden palanquin or king की palanquin. What is a palanquin? A palanquin means palki. Palki या डोली जिसके अंदर kings बैठ करके जाते थे. So you can underline this term palanquin and write down its meaning. A wooden carrier used to carry kings or queens carried by soldiers on their shoulder. So a palanquin means a palki or a डोली. So palanquin में बैठ करके king जाते हैं और जो उनके guards हैं और उनके elephants, they are decorated with gold and silver. And the king is surrounded by armed women. And this is a special characteristic कि men नहीं हैं जो soldiers king के आसपास हैं, but these soldiers are female soldiers. And the king is surrounded by women, armed women, and he is afraid that someone might kill him. और king को हमेशा ये खतरा रहता था कि कोई मुझे मार देगा और जो मेरी kingdom है उसको ले जाएगा. And that is why he has special servants to taste the food before he eat him. Maybe somebody will mix poison in king's food. So before the king could eat it, there are the servants who used to eat that food. And he never sleeps in the same bedroom for more than 2 nights. He keeps on changing the bedroom so that nobody might attack him while he is sleeping. So this is what Megasthenes wrote about king of Mauryan Empire in his book Indika. So I hope this much is clear to you. We have done Chandragupta Maurya, the sources of information of Mauryan dynasty, and an extract from Megasthenes' account. Who was Megasthenes? Megasthenes was a foreign traveler who had come to India to write about Indian kings. And which kings he wrote about? He wrote about the Mauryan kings. Is this much clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so from administration onwards, we will read out from the next turn. Meanwhile, what we can do is we can quickly mark exercise A and B. For now, we can mark exercise A and B. Who founded the Mauryan Empire? Come on, you have studied this.
Ma'am, Chandragupta Maurya.
Maurya.
Very nice. Okay, so everybody knows this. Chandragupta Maurya. Question number 2. Chandragupta Maurya defeated Seleucus in which year? You have read this also? It is 305 BC. 305 BC. So second answer is 305 BC. Who wrote Arthashastra? Come on.
Chanakya.
Ma'am, Chanakya.
Very good.
Ma'am,
Chanakya wrote Arthashastra. And who wrote Indika?
Ma'am, Megasthenes.
Very nice. Okay. So Arthashastra was written by Chanakya. Fourth one. Now this you have not read, so I will tell you. Ashoka invaded Kaling in 261 BC. It is 261. 261 BC. And the last question, the officers appointed for propagation of Dharma were called as Dharma Mahamatas. It is Dharma Mahamatas. Match the columns. Question number 1. Chanakya, Arthashastra. Chanakya, Arthashastra. Kalinga War, Ashoka. Kalinga War, Ashoka. Digvijay, policy of conquest. Digvijay, policy of conquest. Megasthenes, Indika. Megasthenes, Indika. Chandragupta married Seleucus's daughter. Very good. So it is 34152. Now children, if you agree, only if you agree, shall we mark exercise C?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we will also mark exercise C. Very short answers. However, you don't have to do it by tomorrow. You can take your time. You can take enough time to complete it. Okay. I will ask this after the unit tests are over. I will ask this only after the unit tests are over. Okay. Do it as per your convenience. Who assisted Chandragupta in founding the Mauryan dynasty? Write the answer.
Ma'am, Chanakya.
Page number B9. First page of the chapter. Page number B9. Second paragraph. Chandragupta Maurya. First line of the second heading. Chandragupta founded the Mauryan Empire with the help of Chanakya. Chandragupta founded the Mauryan Empire with the help of Chanakya. Close the bracket at Chanakya. This is answer number C1. C2. Name two important literary sources of the Mauryan Empire. Which two books are there?
Arthashastra and
Arthashastra and Indika.
Very good. Turn to the same page. Page number B9. Very good. Page number B9. Under the heading Sources of Information. Second paragraph. Sources of Information. Second paragraph. Two important literary sources are. Write down the word A-R-E. Two important literary sources are Chanakya's Arthashastra and Megasthenes' Indika. Chanakya's Arthashastra and Megasthenes' Indika. Close the bracket at Indika. Question number C3. Who were the Pradeshita, Yukta and Rajuka? Turn to page number 10. Who were the Pradeshita, Yukta and Rajukas? We will discuss this very soon. Under the heading Administration. Second last paragraph. Second last paragraph. Each province, begin it from each province. Each province was further divided into districts. The Pradeshita was the head of the district. He was assisted by the Yuktas and the Rajukas. This is answer number C3. This is answer number C3. Question number C4. Explain the term Digvijay and Dharma Vijay. Digvijay and Dharma Vijay. Page number B11 above the picture of Kalinga War. Page number B11 above the picture of Kalinga War. Third last line. Dharma Vijay, it is written, Digvijay. It is written Digvijay. Cut the word or and write down is. Is. Digvijay is the policy of conquest, full stop. It was. Make some changes. After conquest, put a full stop. It was replaced by Dharma Vijay or the victory of Dharma. So the answer is Digvijay is the policy of conquest, full stop. It was replaced by Dharma Vijay or the victory of Dharma. Last answer for today. Which religion was embraced by Ashoka after the Kalinga war? Write the answer in the question only. Cut the words which and religion. Cut the word which and religion. And instead of these two words, write down Buddhism. Buddhism was embraced by Ashoka after the Kalinga war. Buddhism. Buddhism was embraced by Ashoka after the Kalinga war. So you will do these exercises in your copy. And this is it for today's explanation.